Hello everyone, William here. In this video, I'll be showing you most of my trainer card collection, which is in these two binders. Most of my cards are in this binder, but it's two binders I use. Also, I have a few slabs which I'll show as I go about this binder tour. Here is the very first page of the blue binder. And here is, you can see I started with Gen 1, that's Kanto. This is a Star Raptor M movie promo. Now, one reason why I like to collect trainer cards is I have more trainers, full art supporters, etc. than Pokemon cards is simply because I was a really big fan of the anime. In fact, I thought the anime came first before the games. I thought the games were based on the anime. But obviously, it took me, when I spoke to my friends at school and so forth, I learned it was the other way around. But I've always really been attached to a lot of the characters that appeared in the show: Ash, Brock, Misty, and that's why I've always been a fan of trainer cards, mainly supporters that I'll be talking about in this video. So we could see here on this first page, I'm still missing a green for our Green's Exploration. That's one of her cards I'll try and get in due time. But you can see here I have laid out all of the gym leaders from Kanto. And we get to the main part of the binder. Most of my pages aren't going to be this flashy, but this is one of my more complete pages. I like to have 4 slots for some of my favorite characters. We could see this is I think this is from Bandai Cardass. I'm not the biggest fan of the band, or I like to say censored Misty card, but I have this one instead. And we could see some. I try to mix up between full arts and regular print cards. Some of these are first edition. I actually remember opening some first edition packs growing up, but I don't have any of my original first edition cards in this binder. Most of these I got later on. Here's some Erica cards. I have almost all of Erica's cards from the gym set. And here's a Asia exclusive, one of her Asia exclusive cards. This one's Erica's Hospitality. One of the few slabs I have. Maybe one of these days I'll try and upgrade Sabrina's Suggestion, possibly even Koga, but for now, this is what's on this page. This is one of the few cards that I actually pulled myself. I got this at the Mega Evolutions pre-release. Here we're going in from Gen 1 into Gen 2. But first, here's some of the Elite Four members from Kanto. This is Lorelai's only card. I actually like her design of Lorelai more than her standard, I'll put a picture up, design that you usually see. I think this was only featured in her Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee game, and her other design is used more often. You can see some of the Team Rocket cards all here. And I haven't started on most of the Rocket admins yet. I'm missing some Ethan's Exploration cards. Funny enough, I have more copycats. Is this technically the same copycat since she has brown hair and green hair? Duplica in the anime is actually based on copycat, but for some reason, I never really made a connection straight away, simply because copycat was only a sprite in the original Red, Blue, and Yellow games. Professor Elm. His full art is a bit pricey since it features a lot of the Gen 2 starters. Well, all of them. But these common cards are a nice alternative. This is one of my favorite cards, trainer cards, just because it featured a scene that took place in the game. Even though there was a similar scene in the anime, one of the anime episodes, I really like any kind of illustration that showed something that took place in the game, especially in the early Gen 1 and 2 games where the sprites, you had to use your imagination for some of the scenes that were going on. This price, well, I refer most of the cards as whoever the character is, but this is a Bomb of Snow art rare, being an Asia card. This is a Indonesian. You can see price. This is price's updated design. I want to eventually get all of the TM versus Series TM cards, because you notice that you could, for at least some of the generations, at least 1 to 3, a lot of the the gym leaders had updated designs. Here you can see Morty's original design compared to his updated one. I have recently bought Karen's TMO one, but it's still in America to arrive in the UK. Here's Will. Even though we share the same name, I'm not the biggest Will fan. I think because Will did not appear too often. He isn't the most memorable character. And Jasmine's Gaze, her regular print card. I like this one better than her full art or SIR, just because you could see the lighthouse in the background. Alright, so getting into Gen 3. As far as I'm aware, this is Watson's only ever appearance in a trainer card. These gym badge promos, they were only released in Japan, and I think there's a special regional event you had to go depending on your location to get each one, probably to motivate trading and so forth. Here's Tate and Lisa, or is it Liza? Sometimes I never really remember the correct pronunciations, but I prefer this artwork to their full art card just because it seemed kind of a nice and mellow scene. It's also not their stock art or default art. Well, I'll give you a comparison. If you look at Roxanne, that's her stock art, so it appears in other cards as well. This is, I think, Glacier's only card. It's quite a small scene of her. Again, this is, I think, you could say the stock art image from EX Power Keepers. I didn't buy too many of these just because they're images of Sydney and Glacier. They appear pretty small, but they have these for all of the Elite Four, I'm sure, of Generation 3. You could see Steven. This is a Portuguese copy. And Licia and Wallace. I've put Licia here just because I think she's technically Gen 3 and related to Wallace. I think Wallace is her uncle. And Zinnia. I'm missing Maxi. One time I'll get him eventually. Some other characters. Characters like Bridget. I think this is one of her only official illustrations since she's usually just seen as a sprite. I missed out on the Gen 4 games originally when they came out, so I had to collect a lot of these cards later on. I like these reverse holos just because it had some... I never saw them when they came out, so even though they're kind of a basic like mirror foil pattern, to me they're still kind of cool to look at. Here we have some of I call them traveling companions, such as Cheryl and Marley, and Crash Awake in Japanese. I really like this Professor Rowan card, well, Staravia, but it reminds me of the Professor Oak earlier on. Some more Gen 4. You could see since Legends Arceus, the game is based on Gen 4. Try to put any related games right next to the main set in the binder, the main generation. Only 4 Cynthia cards. There's a Japanese promo I want to possibly upgrade from this Cynthia's Ambition right here. Cynthia has a lot of cards, but I try to keep every trainer to just limited to 4 cards maximum in this binder. Could probably fill a whole binder page with Cynthia cards. Here we get onto the black and white era where full art supporters made their debut. Some of these full arts, the original ones, can be hard to find in good condition, which is why I have this Skylar from Bounty's Cross. I got a graded copy. I had a raw copy, but I upgraded it. One of these days I might crack it, but it's kind of pricey to crack out cards like this nowadays. You can see a Hilda, Bianca. I'm pretty sure some of these trainers, they have their original black and white one artwork or their designs, but I have most of their black and white 2 cards. I'm pretty sure there's a Bianca with her black and white one design. A good example here is if you look at Elisa, you see this is her original design, then this is her updated design in black and white too. Sabrina and Bryson, I think there's a similar artwork in there. That is a Japanese exclusive of full art, but I don't have that. You can see Iris, Chantel. This Cynthia and Caitlin card that I got recently at a card show this year. I'm not the biggest fan of card shows. I maybe go to 2 max a year, but it's nice when I could pick up a card I didn't have before. I find generally at card shows vendors don't have too many interesting trainer cards, which is one reason I'm not the biggest fan of going. Fennel and Professor Juniper, I think they're both either related or they either study together. There's some kind of relationship they have. Even though Fennel's a minor character, it's nice when they're able to have that. I just want to show this card up close since this is the very first full art supporter. That's N from Noble Victories. This card has a huge print line or defect, but you only see it at a certain angle, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Most of these cards I try to have in near mint condition, but if it's really expensive, I'm not too concerned with getting any card complete near mint gem mint 10 kind of condition. Okay, moving on to Gen 6. This is Pokemon X and Y. I don't have too many cards in this generation, but eventually I will try to collect some more. One thing I've always wondered with the Pokemon trading card game is why Jenny, the female character, main character, from the game would get a card, but not always the male trainer. It's only Red and Ethan that have cards. Kalem, who's the main male protagonist from Pokemon X and Y, doesn't have one, but who knows? That's something maybe they just talk about internally. I'm missing Tierno and Trevor. I think they both have full arts. No, I think I'm thinking of Sun and Moon. I think they just have regular print cards, but Shauna has 2 full arts. Maybe because the female trainers are more popular, but I'll save that discussion for another time. Here you have some AZ cards from his updated game, Legends ZA. I think I misplaced this Pokemon Center Lady. It should be at least in Gen 5, black and white. I think I just have so few X and Y cards that I put her here. You can see Sable. It's not really a character I really remember. It's also one reason why I put some of the trained class characters. You could see Fossil Researcher, Hexmania, and the Furry Surly Girls at the bottom to pad out the binder a bit. And okay, here we get to some Legends ZA characters. I said I would only collect up to Gen 8, but because trainers like these are technically from earlier gens, I'm still collecting them. Jacimp, she's from this Perfect Order, and I forgot like the Japanese name. Is it Nihil Zero? That might be right. And Jet is a character I sometimes forget. I think she's technically the first character to appear at the start of the game. It's been a while since I played it. Although I think, did I finish it last year? Thereabout. It's already halfway in the year, which is kind of surprising how quickly time goes. Alright, now we get to Gen 7, that's Sun and Moon. I think I said it before, but I like to keep characters related to each other so we can see How and Hala, and I'm not sure if here we can see Mon. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Lusamine, Gladion, and Lily. I actually tried to get this scene. You can actually see Mon in Pokemon Sun and Moon, but I never could actually figure out how you get him to appear at post end game. I'll probably have to look at a FAQ to see how it's done. He appears in the anime, not to spoil it, but yeah, if you ever watch the Pokemon, I think it's Horizons. No, not Horizons. Journeys. There's an episode featuring Lusamine and family, although I think Lily's probably the most popular character on this page. She has so many cards. These are two slabs I have. Price is obviously one reason why I don't buy too many Lily cards. These are obviously pretty pricey. Not in tens. If they were tens, I probably would sell them and buy nines. But that's enough talk of price for now. I really like this extra Battle Day card just because it features a scene rather than having the stock art on the usual regular print cards. I want to get some more extra Battle Day cards, but you rarely see them sold outside of Japan or even just outside of Japan in general. And I don't want to spend, I don't know, the £15 shipping for a single card. So I'll have to wait to try and get some more eventually. Lana and Malo, both from Tag Team. Professor Brunette and Kukui. To try and reduce the glare from coming off the binder and the cards, I adjusted my setup a bit. And here is some more Sun and Moon cards. You could see this card I got at a card shop. Not too many cards I got from card shops, the same way not too many are from card shows. This card shop I got it from is very player focused, which I think was why they had so many extra promo cards. I actually bought one and the owner gave me the third place variant for free. These promos, they don't make them anymore, but I think it was just for the Sun and Moon era, where those entering leagues, there was a first to fourth place. It featured the same artwork on all four cards. And you can see here, this is a Asia exclusive Mina card. I think Japanese and Chinese, Korean. And even though I actually prefer Mina, her original design in Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, I think Mina only appeared like this in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. But I decided to get all two just because Mina's an artist. I like to get some of the artist cards. I don't have too many Smeargle cards actually. I should probably work on that. Guzma Hala. This is I think this one's Indonesian. I really should get some Guzma cards because he has at least 3 or 4 that he appears in. And I don't have any Po Maria. I think that's her name. I don't have any of her cards either. This card here features a Aether Foundation employee, as you can see. So I wonder what's the backstory behind this. It's from Burning Shadows, the same as Olivia. This is one of my few Chinese cards that I have in the binder. This is a cameo featuring Team Skull, one of the Skull Grunts. The Sun and Moon era had quite a lot of cards, but I found trainer cards and supporters in general really exploded in this era, which is why I kind of wanted to cut back on how many cards I could get. You can see you have 4 Nessa cards here. She has a few more, but I don't want to fill this binder too much with Nessa cards. I find this style of where you just see the person waist up or knee high up. It's kind of a standard thing. There's only so many times you see illustrations like this, which I guess is one reason why trainer cards are never really that popular. There's kind of a limited range on how you could actually show trainers compared to Pokemon, which seems to have more dynamic and varied artworks. Probably helps that trainers characters, they only get so many cards, so you don't really have to worry about portraying Sonia 10 different ways. But when it comes to Hypnotop, obviously Hypnotop has quite a few cards. I imagine you need to vary it up a bit. Here we could see some more gym leaders. This card is quite all-centered. Clara, another Naoki Saito illustration. And this Melanie card is also all-centered. This is a card I cracked out. I've cracked out a handful of trainer cards from slabs. I'm not really big on graded. If it's pricey, I'll keep the slab, but some cards I break out. And one of these Opos is... Oh, okay. I used to have a Okay, no. It's Alistair, which is Portuguese. Some of these gym leaders are version exclusive to either Sword or Pokemon Shield. I think I played a version with Gordy. If you didn't know, Melanie's Gordy's mom. That's why I like to keep them together. And I think the Clara and both Avery are related. I can't really remember. I haven't played the DLC, but I'm pretty sure these two characters are DLC. A handful of these Scarlet and Violet cards I've sold off. Here are some of the DLC characters. Lacey, Crispin, Maris. I never really got around to getting a Carmine card. I think Carmine was playable in Lugia at the time, which is pretty pricey. Here are some Holland cards. These are the only exclusive region or world to the trading card game. That was the Holland region in the AX era. I forgot which one. Holland Farmer. That's why I have them in the trainer class section of the binder. Gen 9 is the last. I'm not sure if I'll collect any Gen 10 trainers, but I'll wait to play the game first. This gym trainer is exclusive to European languages, English, Spanish, so forth, but this one's a Portuguese copy. Some more trainers, just trainer class ones. There's a delinquent promo, a regular art promo that I wanted to buy, but it's pretty expensive. It shows the same delinquent. She's washing her Poochyena card. It's about £10. I'm not sure if that's the correct price, but it's pretty pricey whenever I try to buy it. Here's a Sightseer. I think Sightseer has another card as well, but her full art was only released in Asian languages, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean. I can't remember if it's Indonesian and Thai. I don't think so. I'm trying to think of which variation of bug catcher this is, because I know that some trainer classes, they have updated designs. A good example here is Lady. This is another exclusive card that didn't come to English. And I'm pretty sure this Lady design is from Gen 3, Ruby and Sapphire. Is this Lady from the Black and White era? I'm not really sure, but I do know that some designs get updated. Some trainer classes have updated designs. My only Pokemon Go supporter trainer card in here. And finally, these, at the end of this binder, these are some fake cards that I accidentally bought. Thankfully, they were cheap. I didn't get ripped off too badly, but I cut the edges. So if they ever get back in the wild, that anyone would know that they're obviously fakes. Alright, I'm recording this binder a bit later on just because my camera was overheating, my camera phone, and also I was running out of storage, so I wanted to upload my other video to the computer before trying to use up all the space on my phone. But this is my second binder, which is mainly for language sets. I just have some extra cards here. This is a Korean Iris Fighting Spirit, an extra card. I was trying to get a Chinese one, but the seller sent me this by accident. But essentially, this binder is more showcasing my language sets. That's having a card in every single language. I've gone over this one before, but there's no Spanish black and white Plasma Blast set printed, but it was featured in the online game. So even though she had a actual Spanish card translated for Pokemon trading card game online, there was no actual physical card printed. And you can see a few more here. I don't think I've ever said why I have so many Iris cards, because growing up there's never really that many dark skin characters in anime, or none that I ever watched. So to see Iris, a dark skinned character in Pokemon, these are some graded cards I have. I think I've shown some of these on the channel before. We have 2 English Plasma Blasts. This card is still pretty hard to find in the 10. And her unlimited Japanese 10 is not that hard, but it's still not the easiest card to find. It's a bit crazy owning so many. I wouldn't buy these types of cards at the current prices that they are now. I'd rather focus on just buying 9s. But even these 9s are a bit expensive currently. Alright, I'll zoom out. Here we could see this is a Olivia language set on the left hand side. The right side, I was trying to get Olivia a full binder page of 12 copies, but haven't gotten around to buying the final card. This card here actually has, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it, but it has a texture shift. If you look by where her eyes are and her eyebrows, you could see some dots that aren't really lining up with her features. The seller didn't say that the card was a texture shift. They probably didn't look at it too well, but when I guess you buy so many cards, eventually you're going to get some kind of error of some sort. This card is the simplified Chinese version. I've talked about it before. And Olivia has a full art of the simplified Chinese version too. This was a tournament exclusive promo with only 300 copies, so that's why I like to keep it in this custom slab with Brock, just because it's on the more pricier side. Here I got a sleeve that had this heart-shaped design, and I looked up online. It wasn't with this Olivia card, it was another card I forgot. I looked up online to see where they're from, and they're mainly used in K-pop trading cards. So that's interesting tidbit to know. Considering how many cards I buy, I'm surprised I've never gotten more, but I guess there's not much overlap between K-pop and Pokemon collectors, I guess. Or maybe those sleeves are a bit more pricey, so sellers don't send them off with any cards they're selling. Vivid Voltage and her full art and trainer gallery from Lost Origin, I believe. The sets are different in different languages, but I'm sure you know what I mean. And here is Nessa. This is a full, complete set of every card she has. This is the Professor Program card, which is kind of rare. I've seen a few more sell since I bought mine, but it was only awarded to Pokemon professors for various accolades. And that there's the stamp for all 8 of these Sword and Shield gym leaders, but I only wanted to get one for Nessa to have a complete set. Here's Dreadnought. This is a cracked ice. This version was only released in the Dreadnought Nessa Steam Deck. Steam Decks, they stopped doing them now, which I think is for the best since they weren't always the most cost-effective way to play the game. Here's Iris's Fighting Spirit. I've gone through some of these cards before. This is a language set in progress. I have 10 of the 13 cards. I recently got a Latin American Spanish version of her SAR, or is it SIR? I think it's SIR for the English European languages, but it's still in America right now. This is the elusive staff variant. There's only a few tournaments it was released at, which is why it seems a bit rare. This is another language set I'm trying to start up for Dawn and Serena. Here's one for Furisode Girl and Lady. This is a French copy, Mademoiselle. And some more language cards. I don't want to try. I was thinking of maybe getting every single print variant of Iris's Fighting Spirit, but there are so many cards, I'm just going to focus on her full arts. And here we get to Jacinth. This is another language set I'm trying to complete for both of her cards. His Lilac, that is her Indonesian card, and this is traditional Chinese. See, traditional Chinese pretty much always comes before simplified. And then these are just some extra cards I have at the end, where I don't really have much of a home for them. This is an Indonesian promo for Professor Juniper. When buying cards from overseas, I like to buy more than one, and these are some extras that I picked up from certain sellers. This one's the 25th anniversary of Lilian, Cosmog, Lulana, so forth. I heard it's not going to be there's no trainer cards in the 30th anniversary set, which to me is surprising, but if it means I don't have to buy any packs or any cards from there, that's fine. There are enough trainer cards as there is for me, at least. I used to have a few more of these vintage, this is Misty's Corsola cards, but because the trainers appear so small, you can see Misty. You don't really see that design of her too often. It's kind of small on the card. I've gotten rid of a few of them. Here's some other cameos of Pokemon, of trainers and cards. You can see Jesse and James. These are Hidden Fates. Here's Akari cipher. And yeah, this is the last page. Not too much. You could see some of the Erica's cards from the gym sets I was talking about. I got this Salvatore when I visited Paris earlier this year. I thought of making a video about it, but in the end I decided I won't bother recording anything. I might talk about that another time, maybe later on in the year as a recap. Here is, I forget what Lucas's Legends Arceus, his previous former self, would have been called. I really should have these two together, but I'll sort that out another day. Anyway, if you managed to make it to the end of this video, I thank you for watching because it's going to be pretty long. So that's all for today, and thanks for watching.